Get Heavy Podcast, hosted by Craig Casamas and John Scheimer.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Get Heavy. Another beautiful evening. We got John Scheimer back in the house, back from vacation.
Everybody.
He enjoyed himself on the lake like a real fucking true American. Did you shoot fireworks?
I rented a pond. No, because I didn't want to burn down the fucking forest. Because the last time I was at that lake, there was like a huge fire that happened. And
that's right. Yeah.
I rented a pontoon boat. I was American as fuck.
That's right.
American as fuck.
Well, welcome back, dude.
Only wore a mask like 50% of the time. American as fuck.
That's right, man. Anyway, tonight we got my buddy. We've known each other since we were 15, 16 years old.
So
Andy
long.
Walker, drummer of literally 1 billion bands. Let's start with the old stuff. Uphill Battle, Intronaut, Exhumed, Phobia. Let's see. How many others?
Bad Acid Trip.
Bad Acid Trip.
Bastard
What else did you do? Bastard Noise. I'll go back. Somnambulist. How's that?
Destroy Babylon. Army of
Babylon.
Vox and Nihil, if you really want to get
There you go, man. Yeah. Anyway, how the fuck are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm trying to stay sane like the rest of us. Taking one day at a time. Things are strange for all of us, Now looking for work. I think I finally will get my unemployment, I think, this week. So that's exciting.
Oh, that's nice. Just time to run out.
Yeah. Are you going to be backlogged, hopefully? Is that the plan? Or, I don't know. I had to go get a fucking job right when fucking this shit hit. So I did not get unemployment.
Right. Well, as you know, it was the shows and it was, work in the bars, and then both those are non-existent. And I lucked out and I got a job at Bevmo for a little while. It was kind of a temp thing. And,
nice.
Our sales soared through the roof. As soon as the bars and the restaurants closed down, everyone was freaking out and stocking up on wine like toilet paper and water, man. We kept busy. And then once we opened the doors, they, laid a few of us off, and it is what it is. I'm like, shit, well, what am I going to do?
Well, hopefully you're going to get some of that fucking extra $600 back pay for a while, you know what I mean? Because I know it runs out this month or something, right? All these fucking...
It ran out the beginning of the month, beginning of August.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're in August now.
Yeah, I'm not going to... I won't hold my breath. It'll be a pleasant surprise if it does happen, but, anything is something, so...
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I was thinking back the other day. I was like, damn, I don't remember the first time I met you, but I remember the first time playing with you, and probably was about the same time, was back in the Laser Star days.
I was going to say Laser Star.
You would have been in Destroy Babylon. I was in Anthesis or something back then.
Yeah, we played together a lot. Yeah.
I remember going, this 15, 16-year-old kid is better than any drummer I've ever seen in my life, dude. And then I remember meeting you a year or two later, and you're teaching fucking lessons at American Music. Remember that?
I totally forgot about that place. Johnson Drive, baby. Yeah.
That's right, man. Yeah, I was a Montalvo kid, and that was my spot, dude. I'd go in there, and I remember running into him. Well, what are you doing here? You're like, I teach lessons. I'm like, you're fucking 17, dude, or whatever, however old you were,
What's funny about that is it was oh god damn, who was it? It was Christian and Keith from American Music that happened to be having sushi in Camarillo next to a billiards place, and Uphill Battle was playing a show.
All right. And what was that billiards place called? I can't remember. We played there a couple times.
I don't remember, to be honest, but
fuck, I don't either.
There was glass around the whole perimeter of the building, so even if you weren't there to pay for the show, you could hear what was going on. You could
watch the show through the window.
I think I had my back turned to that glass, and those guys from American Music were there, and they see these blast beats. They're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Mm-hmm.
They, started talking to me like, "Hey, kid, you need a job? Like, we need someone to work in the drum department, and possibly maybe even do some teaching on the weekends."
Mm-hmm.
So it evolved into something slowly, but that was a weird place, man.
Oh yeah, it was odd, man. It was definitely like I don't want to call it white trash, but it was definitely like in an industrial park. And, I can't remember what his name was. Christian, right? The guy that had
Yeah,
the,
Christian was a drummer. He ran the drum department. He essentially managed the place. Keith co-owned it.
they had some kooky fucking workers there, man. I remember that.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the one-legged Lebanese guy?
Yeah, what was that guy's name?
Oh, his name was Danny.
Danny. Yeah, he would try to sell you everything under the sun when he went in there.
You know, is to define a sleazy salesman.
Yeah.
Was the guy.
And then you couldn't say no because the dude was fucking half crippled. He had arm braces. You know what I mean? It would look. And you're like, I can't. I'm 16, dude. I can't afford this $3,000 combo. You know what I mean? Like, but he would pitch that shit to you like you were a millionaire. You know what I mean?
The guy would shred. I don't know if you've ever seen him play the piano, but
I never seen it.
It was gorgeous. Like, this is coming out of this guy. This is amazing. He's a phenomenal musician. Just kind of a fucking sleazy salesman.
Yeah, definitely, man. So what? So I remember seeing you guys destroy Babylon back in the day, and it was obviously we were all ripping off His Heroes Gone back then.
Oh,
you know what I mean, and all that shit.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's all His Heroes Gone and Doom and Drop and Discharge and all that, Drop Dead and all that stuff. But when did you start playing drums, dude? I mean, because if you were seriously talented at fucking 15, so.
Oh, sick. Thanks, man. I mean, I guess I had been beating around on pots and pans, you know, at like 5, 6 years old, you know, listening to like Motley Crue records and Led Zeppelin and like, I don't know, whatever I could find in that house. I grew up in a rock and roll family, so, you know, I'd sift through their vinyl collection and find things I liked, and I just got inspired and wanted to be a rock star. And once I started, you know, tearing up my mom's Tupperware and everything, they thought, okay, maybe we'll get this kid a drum set. So I think around age 8, I got my first drum set. They wanted to test the waters and see if this lasted, and it did. You know, I think they made a wise investment, and the rest is history, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just fell in love.
Right. What was your first drum set? Do you remember?
It was a Pearl Export, wine red, and I picked that because that's what Tommy Lee played. Not only was he endorsed by Pearl, but he specifically played a wine red kit, and I'm like, that's that one. So, yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess back then they didn't really have like kid drum sets. Did they really have like?
No, they did. And you know what? I believe, I think my parents did buy me some piece of shit before that. That, you know, just they're not even stock hits. They're just garbage and just done.
Right.
Thud.
That's always the way to go. Buy them the cheap, shitty shit and see if they're really into it, you know? Right. So,
because it could just be a phase. You never know.
Yeah. Exactly. Did you get lessons at that age or anything like that, or was it just like, here you go, beat the shit out of stuff, annoy us?
Yeah, they were just, you know, here it is, have fun. And for me, it was just kind of listening to records and just being really good with the ear and just trying to pick up what I heard, and I would just kind of mimic and imitate that. And then at some point, I think maybe I was 11 years old, I decided to take drum lessons with a guy named Rich Crawford. Do you remember a place called Hex Music?
Oh yeah, I remember Hex.
So I took lessons at Hex, and I just wanted to learn different styles of music and really just kind of learn what the hell I'm doing, you know? I can do this and hear it and play it, but like, what is that? What do you call that? Like, how do you count that? You know, so.
Hey, I've been doing this for 25 fucking years, and I still don't know what I'm doing, dude. I literally have no fucking clue. Like, I could barely tell you the key. You know what I mean? so, you know.
Yeah. Started with that, and then I took up lessons with Al Velasquez after that, who's a very popular drum instructor in the county area, and I really owe it to that guy. Like, that guy really taught me a lot. I learned different styles of music, and some things I ran with and some things I didn't. But he was always very supportive and just, yeah, man, I feel like if it weren't for him, I don't know, man, I just wouldn't have certain things in the pocket. So.
Right.
Did you ever have a moment when like you were kind of like, oh shit, I want to do this for the rest of my life? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in a ton of fucking bands. You're a very sought after drummer. Like, did you have a moment when you were like, when you were young, you know what I mean? Where it was like, I want to figure this whole thing out, you know? Or was it when you got older that kind of moment happened?
I mean, I think as a kid, I knew that was just a fantasy of mine. I mean, whether it be like listening to, you know, Metallica Master of Puppets and air guitaring with a baseball bat on my bed, pretending that I'm in front of a crowd. Like, I just wanted to feel that. I wanted to, like, just fucking play, you know? And then, yeah, it was just a lot of playing in the bedroom, jamming with some local friends. And then once I guess I was old enough to, or allowed to go to concerts or shows, coming to Ventura and seeing some of the local bands play was my first experience. So seeing bands like Missing 23rd and Patient Zero and like whatever, you know, these guys who I'm now friends with, and looking up to them and being like, I want to fucking do that, man. Like, they're actually doing it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I had no one to play with. I was in no bands, but I, you know, that was really inspiring me, you know, all these Ventura bands.
Well, because I know we used to skate together a little bit back in the day. You skated a lot, and I skated a lot.
Yeah.
We'd kind of cross paths every once in a while. So, I mean, obviously the skate culture was tied in with the punk culture and the metal culture and all that stuff. But, you know, for me, those two kind of helped build on each other, you know what I mean? Because you were finding out about cool bands during the, you know, skate video releases and shit like that, you know what I mean? And
isn't that the truth? Oh, so many good soundtracks. I mean, a lot of good punk songs. And shit, I found out about Dead Can Dance in like a Plan B video. There was a lot of really good underground hip hop. Like,
I would stay and wait for the credits to see, like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's how we would do it, you know what I mean? But then once you start getting, Ventura's always had such a special, like, music scene, dude. It's even from the early 90s. I mean, obviously the Nardcore scene, you know, but especially that 90s era shit was like, dude, it was going off back then, you know?
To me, it's just like there's so many hidden gems. There's just so many, like, classic shit that just didn't get the credit that it deserved.
Yeah, you know? Crop Circle. Remember that? Remember that fucking band? That band ruled, dude. Shitty Steve. Oh, dude. Yeah, the Crop Circle was like an insane technical grindcore band back in Ventura, and you're like, you'd watch them and you're all, I think I just got abducted by fucking aliens, dude. It was wild shit. It was like Gore Guts before Gore Guts, you know?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
They were so and this was in the fucking 90s, dude. You know what I mean? Like, there was just some wild shit going on about
all this dissonant, weird, like,
just fucked up shit, man. But I remember seeing them in barns, and, you know, there was always some wild shit going on back then, man. But, like, when did, obviously, I remember we were in Destroy Babylon, and obviously music was serious to us back then, but was it uphill battle that, you know, when you guys got signed to Relapse, dude, you guys became the heroes of fucking Ventura County, essentially. You know what I mean? Because that was nuts. Like, that was the unattainable fucking label for every one of us back then was Relapse. And you guys got signed, you and Graham, you know, of Annihilation Time, of all the fucking people in the world. Like,
yeah, you know,
like, was wild.
Yeah, I was always so proud of Graham's ambitions and, like, you know, endeavors, and everything he did was always awesome. But yeah, as far as what I was doing, like, Relapse was always just a label that I looked up to in the mid 90s, early 2000s. And I never thought that we'd ever get signed by that label. And really just, you know, being an uphill battle to me just felt like another band. It was more of what I wanted to do. And I feel like working with Audie, he made me a better musician. You know, he wrote the majority of that stuff, and what he was dishing out was just insane. So it really inspired me to, like, go ape shit, and we just worked really hard, and we ended up getting signed. I don't know how it happened with some of my favorite bands on that roster at the time. I mean, you know, they had Neurosis and Nausea, Mastodon, Nile, Dillinger Escape Plan, fucking, you know, Disrupt, Incantation, Macabre. I mean, the list goes on. It's like, you know, pure metal to experimental to hardcore to prog rock, indie, like, they just kind of encompassed it all. So I've always just respected that label. So
did you guys do play a showcase, or how did you guys get on their radar? Did someone find out about you guys and kind of, like, hit you up?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how that happened. Okay, so we recorded our demo tape. We did a 7-inch with Dan Weiss at the, I forget which pickle patch it was. It had to.
I had that 7-inch. Didn't you guys put it out, right?
Yeah, it was a split with a band called
Yep.
Quest for Quintana Roo. It was
I
just
have
one
that shit,
song.
dude.
Yeah. Oh, and it was totally like analog, which was rad. You know, we like did that shit to tape, and I was all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that, and then I think his name was Nick. I don't know. Audie had some connections with like Stratego and some other musicians he had played with, and we just decided to record all the material that we had at the time, and then we would pick 3 of our best songs, make a list of labels, put a bio together, and just send it out. And I don't think we expected to hear anything, and sure as shit relapse. So there was no legitimate showcase. We just signed, and then we booked our first tour. Like 2002, we went on tour with a band called Fall Silent from Reno, Nevada. I don't know if you remember that band. They're kind of a breakdown hardcore band. They were really into skating.
Okay.
Not bad, man.
But that was really it. So, I mean, I guess I would assume the show that we played in Philly on that tour to be our showcase, because that was
yeah. So basically, you guys sent out a demo. You guys sent out a demo, and fucking.
Yeah.
How many demos do you think you sent out, like, in that time? Like, obviously Relapse signed you. How many, you know what I mean?
10 to 15 labels, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Audie's a pretty big go-getter, dude. I remember him. Audie was more organized than almost any of us, period.
Audie?
You know what I mean? He's like a 50-year-old man at like 20 years old, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was always, he played that role as dad in the band.
Oh,
sure.
100%.
He was dad. And yeah, I think, we sent demos out to maybe 10 to 15 labels. Relapse being like the top, like, oh, it's probably not going to happen. And then more like indie, like, like
something that was realistic.
Whatever, like punk label.
Right.
I mean, like hardcore label.
Yeah, that's a trip, dude. I mean, we were all just so fucking excited for you guys when it happened. I mean, and then I remember like you guys would play shows at Cafe on A with us. You know what I mean? Like, remember that little cafe on A Street in Oxnard? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, dude, they're signed to Relapse. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still those guys. You know what I mean? It's still them. It's not
like,
fucking.
I know these dudes.
You know what I mean? These guys will fucking play. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal, you know? But it was just so cool to see you guys be able to blossom into that shit. Obviously, those connections started working for you, right? I mean.
Yeah. I mean, we would have played a birthday party, man. I remember the livery.
Mm-hmm.
That was,
Livery was sick. The living room was a big deal back then. I remember that, you know. There was
the fucking Wrath played the last show at the Livery, and Craig was wearing a banana suit.
That's right. Yeah, totally.
A banana suit, and
I smoked a joint on stage.
They all walked out smoking blunts because it was like, it's the last show here.
What are you going to do?
What are we going to do? Get banned from the fucking Livery?
Right, yeah. I was high as shit in a banana suit. Yeah, good times, man. I don't know. It's wild.
Really weird, man. Yeah, that was kind of like the beginning to not lucrative career, but just like, I don't know, just a good time, you know.
Well, I mean, it's
lucrative in life things. Money. Lucrative cannot be necessarily just money. You know what I mean? Like, I believe like people like us, we get paid lucratively in our lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, it allows us to do things and live a certain way and not have to adhere to certain society.
It's just, being able to have a trip funded, or be able to go out and play and meet people and make friends and just meet other bands, and it's an experience.
Well, it's funny because you start touring, you kill yourself, you fucking borrow money from your parents, and you promise you're gonna pay them back, and then you fucking come home with nothing. And then all of a sudden the tours are starting to pay for themselves a little bit. You're not eating too much shit. And then all of a sudden, you're like, hey, fuck, we can get a hotel. This is nice. You know what I mean? And then eventually you two have tasted the real world, where you actually get to fucking make money from it. So it's like,
we're classy. Motel 6. Yeah.
That's right, man. Fuck yeah.
It's the salt and pepper beards. You know what I mean? That's what fucking makes it happen.
That's right.
And trust me, in quarantine and coronavirus times, and now that I have like a real job, I miss shows so much.
Yeah.
Such a bummer.
I miss the life so much.
Yeah, I was saying that I would, at this point, there's obviously I'm not comfortable going to a show or anything, but I would love to see some piece of shit show at the garage, or you know what I mean, any shitty bar right now, you know what I mean, without it being.
But I think about that
you know,
at the time where you have everything at your fingertips and you have so many options, you just kind of like shrug things off. You're like, you know, I would go see that. You know,
I'd do anything. Right? I'd go see a fucking cover band right now at a bar. You know what I mean? Just to go see something.
They're not cover bands; they're tribute bands.
That's just right. Tributes.
The fucking difference.
Yeah. I wanted to ask: has there ever been a project where you were absolutely like, I'm gonna do it, but no, I don't like this. Not that I'm asking you to say who they are. Yeah, I mean, I'm not asking you to out it, but I mean, has there been times where you've been asked to do shit and you did it and you're all, it's not really my thing, man?
No, to be honest, I don't think so. Typically, it's always been sort of up my alley. And there's some gigs where I'm just super supportive of it and it's something that I respect and I'll do it for free. And there's some things where it's like, yeah, totally, I dig this, but like, pay me, like it's a paid session gig, it's a job. But I've always been pretty easy about that. I don't think, like I'm an asshole about it. Like, dude, bro, I want $500 a song.
Yeah. I feel like if you get that point, especially with the type of music that you're dealing with and all that, you know what I mean? Like the mindset just starts to get way different. And you're like, jump the shark,
If you want to fly me out, cool, and pay for the studio time. I'm working a lot at home, working on music, but like, just cover the costs to get there. Just like
for the costs, feed me, put me up. Yeah, sure, of course.
They literally feed me. Yeah.
Help.
Here you go.
The grapes and the whole
deal. Hit that drum fill. Here's some fucking chicken for you. And
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I can't think of anything that I absolutely was like, fuck that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the industry we're in, we don't usually. I just said it because I wanted to know if there's ever a time where you had it. But generally the music that we play, it's out of love, it's out of passion. Even that, like, and I forgive me for forgetting this guy's name, but the flamenco guitar dude that you're jamming with.
Oh, Ben Woods, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Hey, Harley?
Oh, my God. Never in my life have I fucking, you know what I mean? Like, and to even play with that stuff is obviously, it's awesome, you know what I mean? But
super technically challenging. Yeah, funny thing, I met him.
Watching those videos, you're like, holy shit, dude. That's so far above my pay scale, like, as far as playing goes.
Yeah, sorry. He's onto something for sure. I met him when I was still living in Long Beach, and he actually used to jam and play shows with Al Velasquez, my old instructor. And he also used to play with Sean Reinert, rest in peace, who used to drum for Death and Cynic.
Right.
He recently passed away.
R.I.P., buddy.
But they did a record together entitled Flamenco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cheeky. Yeah.
It's like two things that should never go together, essentially.
No, not at all. You're like, what the fuck is this? But it somehow works. I think that's so that was kind of like an extension of that, and I've always been a fan of his playing. So I'm like, right on, man, send me some stuff. And we recorded with John Haddad out in Corona, who's a recording engineer that I've worked with forever. He used to drum for Phobia and Shiva, a band called Dead America. I don't even remember them. They played the living room a few times.
Okay.
They were kind of like if Dystopia and Phobia had they were kind of like groovy and funky, but they had blast beats.
All right.
Had like a graffiti thug vibe about
yeah, graffiti thug. That's like a perfect.
I mean that was
graffiti crust.
That was like Dystopia.
Yeah, for sure, graffiti crust. That's what I'd call it. Yeah, for sure, man.
Graffiti crust. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Dude. But anyway, I watched a couple of those videos. I was like, oh my God, I just quit. I'd quit. I'd be done. I quit.
Right. When was the first time you got hit up by someone being like, hey, fucking play, you're not in our band, but play these fucking songs for us? Or when was it, like, when did you start getting sought after? Like,
Exhumed. And how that happened was Uphill Battle and Exhumed were label mates on Relapse. And Exhumed had just released an album called Anatomy is Destiny. And Colt Jones, their original drummer, who had been there since the very beginning, had a serious career. He was like a molecular biologist and he would research cures in cancer. Like the guy had a serious career. Death metal and grindcore was his passion, but you can only go so far with that. So, you know, Relapse is scrambling and looking for drummers to fill in these gaps for the tours that are already booked. And they're like, well, this guy in Uphill Battle, like maybe he's interested. And I was already a fan of Exhumed. I love that old school, you know, Exodus meets Carcass. And I'm like, yeah, man. So he put me in touch with those guys, and they sent me a set list. I worked on it at home. I took a Greyhound out to fucking San Jose, and I rehearsed with those guys for 2 days, and boom, we were on tour. It was like, that was kind of the beginning of session work.
Right. How long did you play in Exhumed for?
A good period of 2003.
Okay.
Like we fuck, dude. Yeah, we toured the States, Europe, Japan, Australia. So for that year, they supported that album. And then, you know, things were starting to pick up with Uphill Battle, and I think they kind of felt a little left out. They're like, well, that's kind of cool that you're like doing some things with our label mates, and they're, you know, more successful in traveling and doing these things that we aren't, but like, hey, we're still here. And I'm like, I realize that, and, you know, my heart's in Uphill Battle. So Exhumed needed to continue on, so they had some other drummers after that, and I focused again with Uphill Battle, you know, because that's where the heart was at.
Yeah.
When you were with Exhumed, was there any times that like a promoter got like way crazy on like the chainsaw coming out or anything like that? Were they doing that? Were they doing the chainsaw at that time still? Or had that happened?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was really an issue because there was no like blade on it. It was
just
yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah. But like,
I would be more concerned about the vomit and the blood, everything.
Yeah,
dude.
the vomit.
The vomit would bum me out as a promoter. You know what I mean?
Right. So Bud, the bass player they had in the band before I joined, was the guy that would, you know, he set up a tarp. And he could just vomit on command.
Dude,
you know,
he'd puke on command. It was brutal, man.
And Cole, the original drummer, would breathe fire. He'd stand up on his drum stool and, you know, put his sticks in the way that would make a pentagram, and then he would fire. And then, you know, I remember
they did that at the living room.
Yeah,
They fucking blew fire into the ceiling at the living room and then puked all over the fucking stage. I was like, this might be the best band I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
That was one of the first Relapse Contamination tours. That was
right. Is you guys Uphill Battle, Exhumed?
No. We didn't
Uphill Battle didn't play that one.
No. It was Origin.
Oh,
Exhumed. Yeah,
that's
Origin,
right.
Yeah, Origin, Exhumed.
Cephalic Carnage.
Cephalic Carnage and Be Numb was on the tour, but they didn't make that show.
That's right. Yeah, Cephalic Carnage was nuts too. Origin was nuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember at like one point Exhumed, they flipped their guitars upside and it says gore fucking metal. The drummer's like eating blood out of a severed head, and the bass player's puking on the stage like as he's playing. I'm like, I gotta go outside. I'm fucking done, dude.
Right. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Those dudes have always just been about like fun theatrics, just paying homage to like the old school and just like making it entertaining, you know. Like,
it's entertaining.
They know it's silly, but it's fun. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You always remember the fucking chainsaw. You always remember, I mean, especially somebody puking, you know? Fucking
yeah, I remember like him laying the plastic on the floor with duct tape, and was it John Lyons, right? The guy that was the sound dude?
John Lyons. Yeah.
John Lyons.
Yeah.
He's looking at the stage and he's like, what the fuck? You can see his face like, why is he putting that on the floor? You know what I mean? And then as soon as it started, he's like, fuck. You could see him just like rolling his eyes and like all bummed out, you know? It's like, oh,
here
man.
we go. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, always such fun, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Good times indeed.
Well, anyway, obviously, you know, recently you've moved back into the area, left LA, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Works dropped. Intronaut, long career doing that shit. I mean.
Yeah, 13 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the longest, you know, commitment I've had with any band. Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember when you moved to LA, I was like, that makes sense. You know, that totally makes sense. He should definitely be in LA doing shit.
Yeah, it just made sense. You know, I made the trips for a while. It was worth it for me, and then I just like, yeah, I need to get out here. I lived in various places in LA for a while, and then it was good to be close to those dudes. But honestly I hated living in LA.
Yeah, I bet, man. Well, it's just LA is everything that people say it is, and that's good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, it has so much room for absolute bullshit, like rock star weird behavior, and then it has so much room for authentically fucking rad, like, stuff at the same time, But I remember, like, seeing Sasha and Anubis Rising back in the day, right? That was him, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was kind of like our connection.
You guys were in that too, right?
Yeah. We did a split together. Anubis Rising and Uphill Battle did a split.
Right, that's what it is.
And, when I come out to LA to, in the punk scene, and I go to all these DIY shows, I go to like the Smell and the PCH. I met a lot of those guys, and we kept in contact, and we did the split together, and we always talked about starting a band, Sasha and I, and then one day it just happened.
Just happened, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember hearing, I was like, oh, they started a new band. I was like, oh, cool. I'm sure it's going to be fucking cool, dude. And 12, what did you say, 13 years or something you guys were together?
Yeah. Yeah, and doing that band was kind of like, it was a new beginning. It was really a step down because I'd already, like, been playing with a lot of successful bands and doing a lot of traveling, and this was something new. It was like starting from the ground up. And, like, I guess what we had is, like, people in the band that were known for previous projects and stuff like that. But this music, like, this was new. And that didn't bother me at all. I think our first tour is, Mouth of the Architect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Our first tour was with them. We toured with a lot of bands, and, like, those tours are rough. I mean, shit, even our first time touring with Mastodon, we were making like $100 a night. But those shows were so packed that we'd make up.
You make it in merch.
In merch. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was worth it. I mean, I would have done that tour for free. It's just like
100%,
playing for a big crowd. And funny that Uphill Battle toured with Mastodon back in 2003.
Right.
When those guys were still parked out sleeping in their van with no tree.
They were doing the Life's Blood EP back then, right?
Yeah, Remission had just come out.
I remember seeing them when Remission just came out, and I thought, this band is going to be massive. There's no fucking way.
There's no
they won't.
Guys.
And nothing that was going to stop that band.
And nothing was handed to them. They earned it. They worked their asses off, and, people want to hate on their new. I love all their. I love the old school stuff for that period, and I love their kind of more radio friendly, more rock stuff.
Have you heard the new track they just released like a couple days ago?
I have not clicked on it yet. I've seen it.
Dude, it's straight like Remission style fucking Mastodon, but a little bit in the new stuff. But it is gnarly, dude. It's a fucking gnarly track.
Is that what COVID does to you?
I guess. I don't know, man. Yeah, it brings out the anger in everybody.
Yeah, brings you back to your roots.
I guess, man. We're all getting back to our roots right now,
Mm-hmm.
Right. I saw that you played in Bastard Noise.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I did an interview with Eric Wood on KSSR like 8 years ago. It was when he was in that major fight with the Akron family. Did you ever see that?
Oh, God, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. What was it like being in a band with Eric Wood? Because I interviewed him, and he's a very, very sweet, nice guy, but he's also a complete psychopath.
He's a lot.
And, like, I appreciate those types of people.
Yeah.
I could only imagine what it's like being in a band with someone like that's like, what's it like being in a band with someone that's that driven and, like, has such a focus on what they want,
Yeah, sometimes that kind of shit makes an artist. I don't know. It was really wild and exciting, and just that guy is just driven and insane. I don't even remember how the fuck we met. It had to have been a show, and growing up on hardcore and punk, I was a huge Man as a Bastard fan.
Obviously,
yeah. They were so brutal, but they were so jazzy and progressive. Like that really resonated with me, and Bastard Noise was just the noise of that band. They didn't have instrumentation. And Eric Wood had expressed, hey, I want to do something under the name Bastard Noise, but for the first time in years, I want to pick up the bass. I want drums and bass. I'm like, dude, fuck, I'm in. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Sick. So we did that split with a band called the Endless Blockade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I have that. I love
that band rules.
Endless Blockade rules.
Is that you?
Scotland.
Yeah, that was it. We recorded that. We did a handful of regional shows. I think we played the Bay Area, some Los Angeles shows, and then we went to Japan for a while because they just love that shit out there. They love art.
Oh, dude.
You could just
That dude's made like a career off of like basically Japanese fan base essentially over there, right?
totally. Yeah, they love it. So it was like really fun. And I've been to Japan with some other bands and played some like big venues, but some of these were just like art spaces in the middle of nowhere and villages. It was like fucking nuts.
What Japanese bands did you play with that you were like, holy fuck? Because you had to have played with a ton of Japanese bands that you were like, holy fuck, I can't believe this is actually fucking happening.
God damn it! He's a very popular dude in the noise scene, and actually
Merzbow?
Merzbow. We played with Merzbow.
Yeah.
We played with an all-female Japanese hardcore band, Mind Evasion.
Okay.
Yep, Mind Evasion. Yep, I remember that.
We played with a band called Slight Slappers.
Yep, Slight Slappers.
Yeah.
Love Slight Slappers.
We played with Unholy Grave, and of course, we played with Corrupted.
Nice.
So it's a good mix of just from punk, hardcore to just doom. You know? Yeah. Really
You got your Church of Misery, your Boris, your fucking all. Those guys, they eat that shit up, dude. There was a band from Japan called 324 or something like that.
Yeah.
They were so brutal, man. Every time a Japanese band comes out, you're like, hold on. This shit can get weird, dude.
Japan and Sweden.
Yeah, they're always handling.
Where's this kick-ass hardcore fucking band from? Oh, Japan. Oh, where's this kick-ass band from? Oh, fucking Sweden. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's a wild deal, man. So obviously in all this like music and stuff, we've in the Corona, we've all obviously slowed down, not doing shit. So we were talking a little bit before this, you're working on projects basically digitally and, through stuff like that. But I would like to get into, obviously Intronaut ended. There's a lot of things swirling around about it. There was an accusation that was made a few years ago, a couple of years ago at this point now, right?
Yeah, it's been well over 2 years.
Right. Not that I want to drag out the past or anything, and I'm more interested in how you've rebuilt since then. But I would love if you want to explain it, your side, kind of tell us what happened. You know what I mean, with that kind of stuff.
Oh God, where do I start? There's so much new stuff that's happened, and I'll get into Ozorn and a lot of stuff like that.
100%. Yeah.
Basically, man. The last thing I did with Intronaut was the Direction of Last Things record, and we toured pretty heavily on it. And I think we were just mentally exhausted. We were physically exhausted. And when we came home, we thought, okay, business as usual. We're done with the cycle of this record. Let's start writing the next one. I mean, there's never been a break. When you're assigned to a record label that, has an itinerary and dates laid out that you need to have something done by, the pressure was always on.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when you're in a band like that, there is a real touring cycle. There's like you said, there is a real schedule that you guys kind of have.
Oh, and
1 or 2 year cycle, right? Essentially.
They hire people to make this work. It's like you have to have an album done before the summer. You need to hit all the major festivals. You need to do, you need to be available. Like,
this is a machine at this point.
It's totally a machine, man.
Yeah.
So we never had,
they call it an album cycle. Your album cycle.
Yeah. Poop out a record, tour on it, come home, do another record.
Yeah.
It's like a continuous. So we were just burnt out, and I think we really needed a break. And when it came time to start writing new material, which was prepping for the album that they just released, the fire wasn't there, and I think a lot of us were guilty of just kind of flaking out on practice, And I know Sasha wasn't dealing with that too well. I mean, he's the guy that Audie was dad, Sasha's dad, and he brings the music to the table, and we kind of tear it apart and go from there. So he wanted to get the ball rolling, and like I said, I was guilty of flaking out. Others were as well. He had a blooming guitar business. Dunable Guitars was just starting. In the process of moving into a new place. So there was just a lot of frustration and pressure, I think. And he almost quit the band. He said, I'm done. You guys can continue without me. And we're like,
how's that going to work?
Possible. Like, we're just gonna move on without you. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, good story.
Right.
So we all agreed to have a meeting, and we talked about it, and we convinced him to stay and just take a year off. I mean, I can talk about this because I know he's talked about it in interviews, and it's all good. Like, I'm in touch with these guys. We're friends. We're cool. You know, we don't hang out, but we're in communication.
Yeah.
On good terms. But yeah, you know, he was done. So we took a year off. You know, I was living my life in Long Beach, bartending, playing with other bands, playing with Blind John Pope, a blues rock band. You know, I lived with one of the members. It was just convenient and a lot of fun. And then I was, at the time, jamming with the band Teeth and prepping to do a European tour with Cephalic Carnage. So while I was studying Intronaut material, I was still doing other things and, you know, just life, things at home, drama, relationships, stuff like that. And then, you know, of course, all that shit surfaced.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of confusion on it, but basically these allegations were just the result of a super just bad, toxic relationship. And it was put out there basically out of spite and anger, bottom line. Like, you know, I have no history of abuse or violence. I was never arrested, charged, or convicted of anything approximating domestic abuse. Like, you know, it was just a bad breakup, and it was just done to be vindictive, you know, and very successful at it. The girl that put this out on the internet wasn't even my ex-girlfriend. It was a friend of hers, someone I knew, an acquaintance of mine in the scene. And I guess like the whole abuse thing or the idea of it resonated with her, and she decided to just felt it was her civic duty to just put me on blast, and that's what she did. So she tagged me in this post and said that I attacked my girlfriend. She tagged all the bands, or most of the bands that I play in. She tagged all the drum companies that I endorse in it. It was like really fucked up, really dark, and just insane. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, of course, that shit spread like wildfire. You know, social media crap, and like I just feel like the court of public opinion is so easily swayed these days.
Oh, you know? Yeah. Well, you're innocent. You're guilty until proven innocent now. That's how it's working. You know what I mean?
You're gonna get condemned on the spot. And of course, there were people that popped up out of the woodworks with like irrelevant grudges that just kind of you know had something to say and stay their peace. Things that have nothing to do with domestic abuse or even that relationship. So it's just like really crazy to see and observe online. And it was just a really dark and depressing time. Like,
how did you handle at the time, like having these allegations brought against you and you claim them to be false? You know what I mean? Like, I have a reason to not believe you in that thing.
Sure.
But how do you handle those allegations? Because I mean, allegations like that are serious, and especially in this day and age.
Oh yeah, especially a couple of years ago. I mean,
well, in this day and age when, you know, like it's hard for people to come forward. You know what I mean? And like, it looks bad when you just shame the person that did it, even if like the allegations are wrong. You know what I mean? Like, how did you do? Like, I don't really know. I didn't see anything. I don't really know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, you know, and you know, everyone needs to be reminded. You know, this was at the cusp of the whole Me Too movement and cancel culture. You know what I mean? It's all spawned from the Harvey Weinstein kind of thing, which was like serious shit.
You're fucking Bill Cosby, you know what I mean? All these guys.
And I'll just say this, you know, I 100% back Me Too movement. I do, but I think with something genuine and positive, people can abuse. You know, they could really take things out of context and they could blow things out of proportion and abuse it. But your question was, how did I deal with it? At the time, I really didn't know what to do. I was told by people in the industry, including my band, to not say a fucking thing. Just shut your mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Let people talk. Die down. But, you know, I would just read online, and I could only take so much like slander to where I just felt that maybe it would do me good to make a statement. And I made some sort of half-assed statement at the time, kind of defending myself. And I think when I did that, I put Intronaut in a really like just kind of an awkward, position where they were forced to kind of make a decision. And it's like, you have to understand that 4 people in this band, 3 other people, this is our career. It's a business. We could defend this guy, but I mean, there's a lot involved with that. I mean, you have to battle against negative press, boycotting, any kind of shit that happens. And
well, it's a giant snowball at this point. You know what I mean?
Is it really worth it at the end of the day? And that's the question that most people have. It's like, well, he must have done it if this band of 13 years, like, cut him like that. I mean, they must know something we don't. And it's like, well, it's not really that. Like I said, I felt like for a while, just having a history of drama, relationship drama, things that kind of like bled into the progress of our band and maybe hindered some things. Maybe having a work ethic that might have been in decline at the time. It was just kind of things that
burnt out, man.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of a thing. And then to have like an allegation come out like that in the public, I feel was just kind of like a nail in the coffin.
Right.
It wasn't like, well, we know he did it. Fuck this guy. Boom. Canceled. It was just like, what do you do? And I think a lot of people would have done that, whether you're a band or a podcast or a record label or
a fucking business. Yeah.
Online publication. And, the publications love this, I'm not going to name names. We all know the popular publications that, put out.
Well, they saw the headline and fucking ran with it, right?
Right.
And I found out about it all. I literally, like an asshole, was so stoked to hang out with you one day. We're going to a show, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What happened? What's up with Intronaut? I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And you're like, are you fucking with me, dude? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a dad. I'm busy. You know what I mean? I got shit going on. I don't read the internet all day.
Yeah.
And you kind of broke it down. I'm all, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm like, yeah, that
a ton of bricks,
I was like, yeah, that really happened.
Fuck.
Nobody prepares you for this kind of shit. I don't know, man. I didn't know how to deal with it. I just did what I thought I needed to do, and ties were cut. And sure, there was speculation, but once a band cuts you, then it somehow comes a little bit like legit. But
I could see the reaction. Like, okay, the band cut him. Obviously, they tour with the guy. They must see him be a piece of shit all day long. You know what I mean? And when anyone that's been in a band, especially a band like your level, especially a band that's, has a machine behind you like that, like, yeah, it's straight damage control probably most of the time. You know what I mean? And I know you, dude. I've known you since we were 15 fucking years old. You do date kind of crazy chicks. You know what I mean? And you got a little history of it. But it's hard for me. It's kind of hard for me to imagine. You know what I mean? The accusations. And we've all dated a chick that, you know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And you've regretted it. I still regret some people that.
Absolutely.
And you get caught in a bad fucking moment, man, and that's it forever.
Right. And and I tell you what, man. I'm far from perfect. I know I got a reputation. I know I've been a piece of shit. I know I've been in bad relationships and been shitty in relationships, and that's really nobody's business.
Right.
But that is not that.
That doesn't constitute abuse.
That's not abuse.
Right.
That's not abuse. And I think the people that came out of the woodworks with irrelevant things to say were just like, yeah, fuck that guy. They already had a reason to have an opinion. And you just get a lot of these keyboard warriors, these little cowards that, hide behind the, Chad 420 or fucking Peter 2000, whatever, these people that want to hide and talk shit. It's like, well, send me a personal message. You want to talk about something? Like, you want to hear my side? And that's the thing, I think everything tends to be so black and white, and nobody wants to admit that there's gray area at all.
Oh, my God. The world is full of gray.
There always is, and there's 2 sides to every story. And, I feel like at this point, a lot of people have already made their decision. You either believe me or you don't, and that's okay,
Right.
Don't shit on me for it,
Yeah, well, and so like obviously the allegations come out. You basically lay low for a while. You're it's a couple years at this point, right? Now that you or a year
Well, let's
solid at
see,
least.
like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, let's see, I just, like, even after some chaos in that particular relationship, which was like February of 2018, we were still good after a lot of shit. I went on tour with Phobia, Incantation, and Exhumed. We were
Right.
good. People saw that we were good. I went to Europe for a month at Cephalic Carnage. We were good. I came home. We both decided this wasn't going to work out. We cut it. And then this didn't really serve us until I started dating a girl that I was with before her. And that's kind of where the anger stemmed from. It was like suddenly,
Right.
boom, fuck this guy. And that was May. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been 2 years, dude.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's really what I want to focus on, because the allegation is allegation, and there is a big thing that's happening right now where people are being called out for something they did. There's comedians right now that are fucking tanking right now because of shit they did 20 years ago.
The whole Chris D'Elia thing. I mean,
Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen just got called out like 3 or 4 days ago for like literally soliciting a blowjob 20 fucking years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, not only just and Johnny Depp went through some shit.
Right,
He's now
called,
suing. Yeah. He's now suing, his ex-wife or whatever.
Well, so like what I'm interested in is like how obviously all this is done. It's blown over for the most part, and not one part of me wants to bring it back for you. But
Sure.
I'm more interested in like how have you been able to rebuild your name and rebuild your credits and restart these bands? You know what I mean? Is it just by
Well, I really haven't.
authentically you? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's always a little backlash. Like, I'm always gonna have connections and followers on social media and people that God, I got so many personal messages from fans and fellow musicians when I was going through this shit, and people that really wanted to talk about some things, and and I lost a lot of friends and a lot of people I thought I was cool with that just gave me the cold shoulder. I mean, everyone's so about their own image and like how they're perceived if you support someone that has an allegation or whatever, and it's a really sad, depressing thing.
Right. And
I don't know, like, I guess, a lot of musicians reached out to me at the time that knew I might not be doing much, and they're like, fucking believe that shit. Like, hey, I got some tracks. You like this? You want to do some stuff? So a lot of session work surfaced, tour opportunities, before, of course, the whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
And then the first kind of local thing that became legit was Ozorn, they're a Long Beach-based bands, and I knew a little bit about them, but not too much. Kind of weird living in Long Beach for almost 8 years. I didn't even know.
Didn't even know the Bills?
Right, but when I was working a bar called Fern's Cocktails out there, and they played, and they just blew me away. And, like, they were so loud, bottles were, like, falling off the shelf and just breaking. It was epic. Anyways, yeah, flash forward, I moved back to Ventura. I guess they had a presence in Ventura. They played the Red Cove. They played the Garage. And I ran into those guys on one of my garage shifts. And they were in the process of maybe parting ways with their previous drummer. And they were looking for someone like, hey, you want to get together and help us work on this new album? So we started working on What Became Your Killer. And
which is great. I mean, we've played some shows together.
Yeah.
Fucking shit's great, but I'm just so excited that you've at least been able to, because there has to be an avenue to come back from this kind of shit. You know what I mean? And that's really what I'm interested in is like, how do you come back, whether it's true, whether it's false, whether there's some gray area in between both the stories. There, you know what I mean? Obviously, unless you're a fucking child molester or some, some wild, real crazy shit. Like,
right.
For these types of things, there has to be an avenue to come back. I mean.
Yeah, I really don't know.
It's just time, I guess,
and I did an interview recently with a buddy of mine, and we did it almost 2 months ago, and he's been wanting to release it for a while, and I put it on hold because I was just kind of unsure of, God, do I really want to talk about this? Do I, like, I don't want to open up a can of worms and make this a thing again, but at the same time, kind of stay silent and sit on it, then it's more of a reason to kind of think maybe you're guilty. So I don't really know how to do this.
Right.
But I do know that when it comes to social media and people that follow me, they're all supportive of all the new music I'm doing. However, an article comes out about you on a major publication that the whole world can see, you're then exposed to people that may not support you. So then there's, some tension and shit. The publication Sick Drummer Magazine has always supported me, and they put out some stuff, and it's mostly really positive stuff. And then you get the, great to see this publication supports abusers or whatever. There's just always these internet warriors, these clowns that pop out of the woodworks and just,
Yeah. Have you had any interaction with the person that leveled the allegations against you, like at any time, or were you able to talk with them about it? You know what I mean? Like,
no. Well, like I said, the girl that put it out there was not my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. And it was that next morning that it came out on the internet, and I shot her a text message, and I was just kind of like, really? Like, what's up, dude? Like, why? Like, can we talk? And she just kind of like, laughed with an emoji and then just blocked me. I never talked to her again. And then she, moved out of town or whatever. It's like, at least talk about it. Like, if you're an acquaintance or a friend and you have some suspicions or like you're curious, you're like, hey, I hear these things. So-and-so said this. I hope they're not true.
right.
Let's talk. What happened?
Right.
There was never any of that. It was just like, I saw this. They said that. Bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Done. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just not the way you should go about things. There's a reason why we have a court system.
Yeah. And I
Well,
mean,
it's
obviously, nothing has been founded. You haven't been charged with anything. No, you know what I mean? Like, and it's hard living in this day in life with like the internet where people can just write anything and you either have to defend yourself or you have to not defend yourself because it looks even worse. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just fucking, it's gotta be a hard fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just kind of at the point where like, I'll talk about it. Like, I don't want to ever make it like the main thing, but it's like,
Definitely not.
I'm comfortable enough to where, I can say, I mean, there's no way to really like prove it. I can't bring shit to the table and be like, yeah, okay. It's my word, her word, but like I said, no arrests, no charge, no convictions, no history of that shit. Like, I mean, what?
Definitely, man. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, it's to get caught up in that whirlwind like that is fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Especially the best thing about the internet is everyone has a voice. The worst thing about the internet, everyone has a fucking voice. You know what I mean? They're both so, it's good and bad at the same time. But what I'm seeing now is that, people that are being accused even falsely or whatever, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, you just fucking lay low and you try to live your life. You know what I mean? And obviously this doesn't define you as a human. You know what I mean? You have a fucking catalog of drum work and, a billion relationships that, and people that vouch for you and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's odd to just see it.
Right. But still, it's a thing that has to be talked about because it's you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I tried to just kind of shove it into the corner for a while, and I thought, well, the best thing I could do is just focus on drums. The best thing I could do is just focus on new projects, whether how small or big they are. Just play music and do what you do and love.
Right.
I never wanted to talk about it, and but it's got to come up at some point, and
Yeah.
Well, now that the smoke is cleared, right?
You can't have it be the elephant in the room all the time. You have to like try to deflate the elephant. You know what I mean? And like, you just want to, have your story be told.
Right. And maybe now's the time. We have more attention from people because they're stuck at home, and maybe people will be a little bit more like understanding or open-minded and just kind of humble about the whole situation and just kind of like, think about things,
Because it's also a hard situation to be in if you're falsely accused of something, especially considering we're such supporters of women's voices of coming out and saying shit. You know what I mean? And then when someone does exactly, you included. When someone does a false allegation, it kind of like it drives you nuts because you're like, I don't want it to be like this because I want women to feel comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be the reason that women can't feel comfortable to other women feel comfortable to come forward about other situations. You know what I mean? Not including you, just about other people. You know what I mean?
But that kind of shit does nothing for people that are truly suffering some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some stuff that, I mean, and I know that you're being very, like, cautious about not throwing anyone under the bus and all this
Well,
stuff.
no
You know
one
what I
should
mean?
be thrown.
But,
No one should be
you know what I
thrown.
mean? But the thing is we all have moments that we regret. We all have fucking blowouts with our significant others that we regret. We've all said things that we've regretted. We've all done things that we've regretted. You know what I mean?
But that is,
you know, should you be executed for the one fucking bad moment? Not saying that whatever you accuse of happened, but
that's
should
what
you
I'm
be
saying.
executed for it? You know what I mean?
Right.
no, but like having an argument is different than being accused of hitting someone.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and an argument, like that's not like you can't put the two together. And like I said, you didn't do this. I believe you. You know what I mean? Like from what we've talked about and stuff like that. But it's also it's just a weird time to be alive.
Right. And if I wanted to spend time to go into great detail on this person's character, it might sway the public and you guys.
Yeah.
You'd think
But
differently.
also-
but the thing is like, I'd never do that to anybody. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Part of me feels like I should, but even after all this, I won't.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not the first person to even suffer abuse myself. I've been in toxic relationships with other women. I've, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
We've all fucked
But you
up,
also
man.
don't want to be out there going like, you know, trying to like, you know, like you say, like talk about that person's character, because other people will be like, well, he's just fucking being a typical abuser. You know what I mean? Trying to, you know what I mean? Like it's a
patriarchy, you know.
It's a hard sea to sail.
trying, you know, regardless of everything and, you know, all my sadness and anger, I'm trying to be the better person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you can do, man.
You know?
Just be the better motherfucker every once in a while.
Try to move forward and be better than the person that you were, you know.
Yeah, but you know, that's just all I want to do is just hopes that we can get past this and just keep playing music and kicking ass and having a good time and enjoying life again. You know, it's like I'm not going to get specific on this, but this has even gotten so far that I had the opportunity to play for a specific band, a pretty big band. And because of my allegations, I had to speak to their manager about this beforehand. The manager had to talk to record label about what they thought about it, and record label declined it because of my allegation.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, and I got word with people that work in the department and said that it's nothing personal. We just fear negative press.
Right. And that's,
We're not saying you did it.
Yeah.
But we can't have this. So
Right.
when does it end? What do you do?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I understand that from that side. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard to, like,
business.
You know, business. I mean, it's business. You know what I mean? And, like, they don't want to put all this backing behind something and then have it get shit on because, like I say, true or not, it's out there and it's a weird time to be alive dealing with these kind of situations. You know,
crazy. There's just nothing you could, you know.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So I mean, but at least
yeah, we hit that.
Yeah. But so now that like it's all happened, it's all blown over. It's, you know, you seem to move on. You're still doing your thing. You're drumming. I see you posting videos all the time. I mean, like, it provided an opportunity for you to like work with, build projects, and you know, Ozorn is one that, I mean, fuck, man. I mean, the couple shows we played together have been incredible. But I see you know, you're starting to work with a lot of new bands and stuff. So maybe that's good because there's a whole nother chapter. I mean, we all have chapters, right? You've had 5, 6, 7 chapters. I've had 4 or 5. You know what I mean, of playing music.
You know, it just, you know, it could be. Things could just be kind of a blessing in disguise. You never really know. And like I said, Ozorn was kind of like the beginning of that, you know, and God, just so much emotion was put into the making of that record. For me personally,
you could tell, man.
It felt so right, you know. So I'm super thankful to have worked with those guys. And then, you know, a lot of other opportunities have come since my time moving back to town. I teamed up with a buddy of mine, Russ Brownfield. He's a buddy of mine from Oklahoma City, and he started a project called Avitas, which is a progressive metal band, and it's kind of reminiscent to some older Intronaut, Cloud Kicker kind of Meshuggah stuff. It's really, really pretty, really technical. And we did an EP called Machina, and I recorded my drum tracks with Armand here at Captain Quarters. And then they
shout out to Armo, dude.
Yeah, the man.
God,
and
he's good. He did our record.
And these other guys kind of like did their stuff in different areas. And then I don't know if you're familiar with Jamie King. He's a producer. He did bands like Between the Buried and Me, and like some big like hardcore and progressive metal bands. But he's got a name. It's super legit. So we did that. We already touched on the Ben Wood stuff, the flamenco stuff.
Yeah, the Ben Wood stuff is so crazy, dude.
And then I'm currently working on, stuff. And then from the East Coast, I'm working on the Circuit of Sun stuff. But actually, before that, Mike Darren presented a random project that was a female-fronted progressive metal band, which we entitle Erotis. And I flew out to New Jersey to record that record with Kevin. He plays guitar for Dillinger Escape Plan. He has a studio called Backroom Studios.
Right. Yeah.
So we did 7 songs, and it's all over the map, man. It's like someone asked me, "Oh, what does that sound like?" I'm like, if Massive Attack, Portishead, early Fear Factory, and Meshuggah had a baby, that would be it.
Jesus Christ.
Like, what the fuck? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fear Factory was one of my first big metal shows in like the mid-90s.
But you know, it grooves really hard. It's really beautiful and atmospheric. It has a shoegaze element to it, but it's fucking brutal.
Nice.
I actually recorded my drum tracks just before the shutdown. And then the studios weren't even open, so they were on hold. And then they're now in the studio, I think, as we speak, doing their tracks to finish that up. So it's like fucking crazy, man.
Well, it's cool, man. It's great to see you got some shit on the horizon. You know, like I said, hopefully all this drama and chaos just spawns some new shit. You know what I mean? Because your fucking music, you're my age. You know, your music career ain't even close to fucking over. You know what I mean?
Right. And then, you know, I'd been jamming with Jake from Thornlord again, and we've been talking about kind of extending some of that old stuff.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, and
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
We try to get together when we can. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Jake's isn't he teach? He's like a teacher, right?
Oh, yeah. Cal Arts Institution. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's some crazy shit. And so, what is your obviously with the corona, everything shut down. Do you have anything planned live music wise at all? Is anyone?
No one does
at this point?
No one does.
I know, but I keep asking because I want to see some people are trying to do stuff. You know, I want to see.
No, I mean it's basically just people emailing me material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm not even working with anyone in Ventura. It's all I got people in Florida, New York, Oklahoma City.
Right.
You know, just kind of trading files and working from home. And to me, that's enough for the moment. But you know, God, I just want to jam in a room with someone.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I want to feel it.
Yeah, it's something to be missed, man. We had practice the other day for the first time in months, and it felt pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something I wanted to bring up in this interview, you know, questioning on your end is you know, you guys attempted to do the live performance.
Attempted. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this isn't something that everyone's doing.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
So what I can tell you is that it felt really good to play because it did feel like a show. You know what I mean? Besides, and I kind of went into it on a couple podcasts ago about the frustration. We basically had a dude that was going to handle the tech side of it, and he had some serious medical shit happen to him. And so my caveman brain had to try to figure out how to use this streaming program and all that. And it just, me and Armand, who's a smart motherfucker, could not get it to work. Just couldn't get it to jive with the system, couldn't do it. And so by the time we were ready to go on, it fucking crashed immediately.
Oh, man.
And it was frustrating because Armand, you know, not to be too inside baseball, but Armand wants to do it. You know, he wants to start doing this stuff in the studio because shit's, you know, almost like.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's no problem. You know? It's a work in progress. I think
it is. You know,
you just got to figure it out, trial and error.
But I'll tell you, man, it felt really good to play. I mean, after 4 solid months of not playing a show, not doing nothing. I mean, I did take, when the Wrath ended, I took a good solid year or two off of playing music. And it obviously when Tongue started, it felt really good to play again. But
Good.
this was good because we've never been through anything like this. We've never been forced to sit down and sit still and be with ourselves, and you know what I mean. And the playing itself, even though it was in a studio, and even though there was no one around, just playing as a band together and acting like it was a live fucking show, it felt so good, dude. And it really hit all the things that you'd want to hit. You know what I mean? Essentially. I wish the technical side of it worked a little bit better, but we'll do it again, and realistically, we'll do it in an easier way, on Instagram Live or something like that.
I think that, it's just a thing. It's trial and error, and we'll figure it out. And even I just mentioned the last place I recorded, Kevin from Dillinger Escape Plan Studio. They just started streaming live shows. I think they did one or two that seemed to be pretty successful.
Right.
So I think this is gonna just become the norm.
A little bit, dude.
It's gonna be a new evolution of just ways.
Even when shows come back, because it's not like it's gonna turn into what it was before, where there was like 300 shows a night in LA.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's too many bands. There's not going to be enough venues. So
yeah, I think everyone's going to be fighting for them when they do open. So you're going to be seeing this stuff. Like I said, the technical side of that stuff, it can get worked out, but it just felt good, man. It felt good to fucking play. And then with it being our last show with David, that felt good to at least get some sort of like closure on that, and then to move on to the next part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just say we just keep working through it till we figure it out, and because, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? They're saying
it's forced everyone to think outside the
2021
box,
but I mean that might not even happen either.
Well, they are saying there's they're testing vaccines. I'm hearing that they're supposed to be from pretty credible sources. November they're supposed to be making some serious announcements, and then like January, February, like rolling out some real kind of vaccines and stuff like that. There's like 3. I've been doing a lot of reading on it. There's like 3 companies that have.
I heard someone say that his name was Donald Trump. Is that your?
No, it wasn't Donald.
Is that your
Trump,
credible source?
No, definitely not.
Who's that?
No. Yeah. Anyway, not Trumpelstiltskin. But anyway, it's gonna eventually. This will pass. I think honestly, a solid 2021. Mid 2021, we might be able to play a show, but I don't know, But like I said, I like this at least because it's forced everyone to think outside the box a little bit, man.
Yeah.
And figure out what's important. You know what I mean? Obviously, And there's been incredible stuff going on, politically, stuff like that, So.
There's going to be some new technological advances and things going on. I mean, like, what's the new thing that a lot of musicians are doing? I don't know about this, but Twitch.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's what everyone said on the feed. They were like, dude, go to Twitch. I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
That's what I said. In the last interview I did with my buddy Eddie, he was talking about Twitch. I said, I don't know what the fuck.
Apparently, it's the biggest live streaming website in the world, and we're all missing it.
I guess, if someone feels like they want a tip or they want to pay something for the show, they can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw like 1,000 comments like, go to Twitch, go to Twitch, go to Twitch, go to Twitch. I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Yeah.
I didn't know if that was like some sort of like TikTok shit or like.
I don't know.
Ask Craig TikTok. Craig's a TikTok master.
That's right, man. TikTok's
Craig's
fucking.
TikTok master.
It's that shit has become wildly entertaining to me, man. You get in a fucked up algorithm, you find some. Go to the Get Heavy fucking stories page. They're full of incredible TikToks.
Really? I'll check that out.
Oh my god. There's some really good
more like people rapping than anything. It's like,
dude, there's a really dark, it's like early YouTube dark weird shit on that fucking page, man.
God. Do I need to go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you could. I don't know. Anyway, well, fuck, man. Dude, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been really nice to talk to you, to catch up.
Thanks for having me. Fucking, it's good to see you guys. I miss you guys. I wish we could just all hang out in a bar and
eventually one day.
Yeah.
Is there any links you can tell people to maybe go check out or anything like that? Anything you want to throw out there? Anything?
Promote what you want to promote.
Yeah, promote what you want to promote, or just say be good, everybody. You know?
You know what? I'm with it. Just treat each other with respect.
There we go.
Just be good.
It's nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Be patient.
You're gonna go the Bill and Ted fucking exit.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah, there are no links. I mean, go to my social media. There's shit on there.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah.
Everybody go subscribe to Get Heavy Podcast at all the fucking podcast spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything, rate it, all that good shit. We got merch coming out soon. We got Patreon
Now.
soon. We got Patreon happening now.
Right.
And check it out. Yeah, it's actually merch is out now when this comes out. So catch you later.
All right, guys.
All right, you guys. Take care.
Later.